between Globus-enabled systems. So what's Globus? It's a secure, reliable service. More than 150,000 registered users rely on Globus. More than 150,000 registered users rely on Globus. So what's Globus? It's a secure, reliable service. With the Globus platform, you can easily incorporate robust capabilities. And if the data is sensitive, no problem. Globus can be used to manage protected data. With Globus, you can easily share your data without having to move it or copy it. With Globus, subscribers can easily move and share. And if you have any more questions about Globus, visit Globus. More than 150,000 registered users rely on Globus. More than 150,000 registered users rely on Globus. If this sounds familiar, you're not alone. Many thousands face the same challenges every day and solve them with Globus. So what's Globus? So what's Globus? It's a secure, reliable service. With the Globus platform, you can easily incorporate robust capabilities. More than 150,000 registered users rely on Globus. More than 150,000 registered users rely on Globus. And if the data is sensitive, no problem. Globus can be used to manage protected data. With Globus, you can easily share your data without having to move it or copy it. With Globus, subscribers can easily move and share. And if you have any more questions about Globus, visit Globus. So how can you get started using Globus? Anyone can use Globus right now for free to transfer files between Globus-enabled systems. So what's Globus? It's a secure, reliable service. More than 150,000 registered users rely on Globus. More than 150,000 registered users rely on Globus. So what's Globus? It's a secure, reliable service. With the Globus platform, you can easily incorporate robust capabilities. And if the data is sensitive, no problem. Globus can be used to manage protected data.
I changed my life, I changed my ways. I always wanted better days. I tried my best, I've been the worst. For all the lost and what it's worth, I always slacker, I'm a geek. No matter who I try to be, I change my look, I change my mind, but I was flawed by my design. I tried my best, I've been the worst, for all the lost and what it's worth. I always gave and then gave up. I found myself shit out of luck. I found some sinning, but I'm a savior. They gonna love you until they hate you. I'm done with sinning, but I'm still not right. They're gonna eat you up inside. Don't stop, whether you like it or not. I'm a screw up, but I'll do it for all the freaks and the geeks, and for the ones who don't speak. I'm a dumbass, but people love that, and they hate me as much as they show me the love. I'm a screw up, but I do it for all the freaks and the geeks, and for the ones who don't speak. I'm a dumbass, but people love that, and they hate me as much as they show me the love.
Ayo, 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 ayo. Ayo, 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 ayo. What up, though? Do, 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 do. All right. All right now. One moment. Tea's gone cold and wondering why. Got out of bed at all. There we go. That. Tardigrades run through Leonardo. I like it. I think it's cool. We're going to be talking with Paradigm a little bit later.
Globus.
You in a hurry?
Oh! Wise man replied on time. I was glad I got in the right channel. How you want to do this? Do you want my camera and everything so you can set your settings up?
Yeah, I mean, if you're good with that.
Yeah, I'm ready to go.
All
I'm
right.
talking about fucking dumbest shit. Yeah, the dumbest shit. I need another conversation to go. So let's get this popping. All right, let me deactivate my camera. Are you streaming?
I am.
Okay, let me not be annoying then. Righty. Wow, already cropped too? Nice. Oh, that's because I cropped Discord itself. Right. Duh. There we go. Side by side. Turn on camera. Let's rock.
What up, though?
You know, as I move forward in life, like on some G shit, I'm recognizing more and more that it's just like I really am fighting an uphill battle to like present what I'm presenting as like the standard. And as I've been thinking about it, because I take my days off and that gives me a lot of time to think, I've really started to wonder what my position is in like life and the world. And I already had to talk with Josie about, turning 30, age and how you start thinking about the world and how your friend circle gets smaller and smaller. But for those of us who, it's okay. Yeah, I do. For like an hour. I'm on a podcast, sorry. Oh, you weren't talking to me. You didn't need anything. You just turned the light on. You could have just asked me to keep it. You want me to keep the light on? I can do that. It was cold. So that's what I told you. Gotcha. Would you like me to keep the light on? Just asking. Damn, you act like I'm interrogating you. I'm trying to help you out. Anyway, sorry for that.
No problem.
And I've just been trying to figure out, like, I got this deal with the weed shop that could be happening. I got a couple music videos. It's just like I've recognized that in my life, I've noticed that a lot of the opportunities that I've gotten have come from just my personality, which we've talked about before.
Mm-hmm.
And now that like the pandemic shifted everyone's brains, not to literally throw the punchline out there, but like everyone's paradigm shifted.
Right.
And now the way that I might have been, I always had a job. I never was unemployed. Like that was something that I really think I took for granted. But like ever since I even in high school and middle school, I had a job working for the middle and high school. I've never been at a point like this where I control my own destiny.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very scary for me because, as we've talked about, I know I got it. I've got that it factor. How does that it factor apply to everyone else? Because, I could go on the panels, I could do the clout chasing thing, I could talk shit here, left, right, up and down. At the end of the day, I live with what I say on the internet. And I'm learning that, like, I could potentially be right person, wrong time. Does that mean I give up? No. But it puts things in perspective to how I take care of things. Like, okay, now maybe I should just do one episode a week and the rest of it is just for fun. But that don't feel right to me because I don't progress the story as fast as I need it to. Do people care about the story? How do I get people to care about the story? Should I make like a recap of the seasons, and then get like user input? There's all these questions that start popping out because as I keep growing and, as I get this deal here and as I'm doing a music video here, it's like all the income that I gain is from my personality, is from my dereliction of duty to like, yo, I'm the guy. So put me in any scenario, if 10 days from now I tweet out some dumb shit and Paul Heyman's like, DM me, I'm gonna give you a segment on live television, 5 minutes. If you don't sell me in them 5 minutes, I don't want to ever hear your name ever mentioned in any public space ever again. I'm gonna kill it.
Mm-hmm.
Now my thing is, as I'm getting older and I'm recognizing how the world shifted, how do I still put myself in that position? It's not like I can't do these things. Now it's all about getting in there,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it when you find yourself in the position to control your own destiny, it is both exhilarating and terrifying, right? Like, because all of a sudden you have an excessive amount of freedom. And you realize how comfortable you became with someone else telling you what to do. And then when you get that freedom, you're like, this is awesome. And then you're like, how am I going to eat? Right? Like, I mean, it happens literally that fast.
Yeah, sure.
But yeah, the upside is if you can make it work, you will never go back.
Right. And that's what I'm trying to do with like the last couple months of my 29 years. I'm trying to see if I can make it work. Because I'm not broke, but like I'm also not salaried. I'm also not in a position where I dictate where I live, how I eat, how I sleep. Like everything is still on that creator grind. And a part of it, and I know that people tell me don't look to the past, keep looking to the future. But like a part of me just hates that I had a following years ago. And this was before YouTube partnership meant money. YouTube partnership back in the day used to just mean you could upload videos longer than 10 minutes, or it used to be 15 minutes. You could run like self-promoted ads, you get like little season tags or whatever. Nobody thought that this shit was gonna be like self-owned, nobody thought that this was gonna be like a world where the best and brightest, get to monetize their personalities. It was just putting out content that you like to hear about, that you like to see. Talking on YouTube wasn't even really a thing. You remember the Fred era? It was all skits.
Yeah.
It was all like little pieces and funny videos and haha this, and then it became content creators coming up with one specific thing that they could all do and then writing that as far as they could. There are other content creators that just make car content. They just make BeamNG videos, picking it up. Got a great friend, I drive for an hour, cut the video, edit it, I'm out for 2 days. I'm trying to do that, plus this, plus that, plus that, plus the story, plus that, plus that, plus that, and I'm managing it. I feel like, and forgive any Twitch streamer who's listening to this right now, but I really feel like nobody's doing that. And that's my biggest saving grace, is that no matter which direction I seem to go in, at the end of the day, I always put my own like little into it. You know what I mean? And I just got to figure out how to get it to hit. That's all I'm doing. That's how I'm doing.
Yeah, no, it's like, to anyone in chat, anyone watching the VODs, anyone on YouTube, if this makes it to YouTube, for you, the chatter, the experience is, you are watching someone create content. For the content creator, it's a scale, right? No, I don't talk shit to anybody out there getting the bag. However you get your bag is how you get your bag, and I ain't mad at you. The game streamer, certain other streamers that you and I have talked about in the past, they push the button, they go live, and the content creates itself, right? Like they just grab something, throw it up, or they
Hold
start
on,
playing.
give me 1 second.
Word.
Give me 1 second, Bogus.
Hi, Paradigms chat. I'm not looking at Paradigms chat, so I don't know who's in there. I assume Alina, not DJ. What up, Goku? Not DJ. Maybe Socks. Maybe Greycraft is streaming. Possibly Cagnadian. What's up, y'all?
I love not being alone. One day.
One day.
One day. Why did I pin that to the chat? Oh my god. Sorry. Why did it delete your message? What the fuck is going on? Didn't delete it. I unpinned it. Anyway.
What up, Alina?
Sorry. Back now.
Oh, you're good. You're good. As an example, a tangential example of what we're talking about, like some people just push the button, go live, the content creates itself. Gaming streamers, I'm not gonna again bag on them, but they got it easy, right? Like they are on a relative easy mode. Once the stream is set, they're just out there playing games, and cool, people like that shit. And then on the other end of the scale, like I'm kind of in the middle. I do some research, but it's real casual and it just kind of comes at me over the course of the day with the AI content I'm listening to and things like that. Then there's like, in my opinion, in my oh so fucking humble opinion, you are the guy who invests like the most time in actually creating stuff, right? Like I am a small fraction. My vocal samples, socks, creating some emotes. We are a small sample of contribution to what you do. The rest of what you do is you, and it's like stuff has to make sense within the greater context. When you're talking about the streams and you're setting up like multiple layer storylines, like, sometimes I'm like in awe. not the dick ride or anything. But I'm in awe. Like I just want you to be fucking successful, like, so that I can say, like, yeah, okay, now you understand, and shit like that. And then, and I could be right, and I like being right.
Right. And that's what I'm trying to like instill as a content flavor for other people. I'm trying to set the blueprint that like you don't have to be super nice at CS:GO.
Right.
You can really like, okay, I don't get this game at all, but I'm really fucking good at math.
Mhm.
So like, can we talk about angles and like precise math movements? And then the chat's like, put a dot on your screen or something like that. Da 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 this, and it's like, yeah, you can build off of elements. I just don't see sustainability if we're going day by day, hour by hour, minute by minute. There's no crux to what people are. And again, like I'm not expecting, the 14, 15, 16, 17-year-olds to really gravitate towards that but like we grew up on TV shows and we grew up on stories, and before live streaming was like a possibility, we were all watching other reporters do other things, and we were always screaming at the TV, "What do you mean? That's not real. I'm here." And it's like, well, now you can build that story of what you're trying to achieve, as opposed to just saying, I do good things and I talk about good things. Because at the end of the day, and this is the biggest thing I tell to all streamers, and this is why I say I carry myself the way that I do. The biggest lesson I learned in content creation over my last 15 years is that you are going to, depending on the time, era, place, and even the diction, the quality of your speech, you are going to run into a very large roadblock when you realize that you aren't original.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody on the internet has done everything that you want to do times 10. And the only difference is that they are not you. So what can you do? How can you add emphasis to this stuff to make it fit? And that's why I started doing world building, because it was like, yeah, I might not have 15,000 chatters, but if I could get 3,000 people in this chat to all react to a moment because they've been waiting for it, and yo, finally, that's what this was flashing earlier. And like, yo, season 3, I remember he used to have these little segments where he'd be flashing shit on the screen, and now it's oh, and it's like, okay, that gives me the avenue to say, if I, and this will never happen, but if I ever ran out of things to say, that's not the point. There are other pieces and elements that everybody in that audience can attach to. It's not for me, but it's fucking cool. I like the dude. I spend the time in the chat. I spend the time watching. And it just gives you something more to look forward to than, oh my God. And not to again shit talk somebody, but it's like it gives you a lot more to say than, oh my God, it's Hasan. Let's go. Yay. And then it's whatever he wants to do, and then the chat link stuff, and it just becomes a feedback loop. They try to cancel him, and we do it all over and over again. And then, like, so even putting it forward, or let's take it a step further, there are a bunch of streamers that take trips off of, like, their subscriber counts and the money that they have. Are those trips for you, or are those trips for your audience? Hasan went live streaming while he was in Japan. Was that for you, or is that for your audience?
Right.
Because if you disappear for 5 days to take a trip, they're all good. Everybody's posting up, Hasan refugees come in. They got content. You could share your moments. You could have made a vlog, put it together, watched it, hired somebody. You see how many, like, it's just the threads of thought need to be prepared so you can elevate yourself into a position to elevate other people. I feel like it's become a very tight-knit circle, and it's because Twitch exploded so fast. And I say this with everything, and I think this is the purpose of almost our conversation today. When things explode too fast, you have to take a moment to say, could this have been envisioned or dreamed about in any different way? I think so. I think this can be thought. I think live streaming can hit a precipice where we're supporting people who are legitimately trying to get to a point. Once they get to that point, they are allowed to say, all right, guys, now you can move on. Now you can move on. The story's over. I'm done. I made my money. I'm good. I'm not hurting for bucks no more. We could keep this train going, but I want you to check out these people for the next 5 days. If you find somebody you like more, get them to my level. We'll keep in constant contact. We'll do content together. Let's find a bridge. Who's the creators you think who need eyes on them? My content allows me to transition into doing that. And then the people in the back, the people who are watching are still like, could this be a EOS thing? Could this be, they might do poetry together. Oh my God. He knows about that situation with the political thing. You can ask him that. And now I can collaborate with photographers. I can collaborate with car people. I can collaborate with D&D players. I can collaborate with FPS players, fighting game players. I can connect with all of them because I didn't just say, wow, that's really cool. Can I piggyback? I spent time, years. Okay, I know about the FGC. I've competed in a few events. People around the FGC know my name. It was homegrown in Harlem. Let me spend the energy to say, okay, we're going to do a fighting game tournament. What does the politics guy know about fighting games? I could trust him, though, because I know he'd been around the block. I couldn't trust Hasan to open his mouth. I couldn't trust XQC to open his mouth and be like, yeah, I'm going to be hosting an Overwatch tournament. I'm going to be hosting a Valorant server for, like, it's not happening. It's not happening, and I just don't, my biggest and greatest fear is that I don't want to be at the cusp end of all of this growth that I'm doing. Because I really feel like, and this is the message I've been saying for a long time now. I think you were even here when I really got into it about making better people famous. I really feel like I could just be the right person at the wrong time. We're devolving into fascism. You know, the world's changing. I can understand if somebody were to come out of their face and be like, yo, you would have been popping in 2008. Yeah. I can understand that, you know, like I get that, but I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna keep trucking until somebody or something comes along that can replace me. And speaking of things that can come around and replace you,
nice segue. Unfortunately, I have to comment on what you just said, so I'm gonna ruin it. Go ahead. The first thing is related to the last thing that you said. I can't remember if it was Busta Rhymes or if it was what's his name? The guy with the Hulk hands. He was in Fast and the Furious. Good. At least I'm not Ludacris. Thank you.
Yes. Because you said the Hulk hands, I had to think back to Fast and Furious, and then I was like, wait, did that happen then?
And this is why we get along, because our mind works in similar ways. Like shit is filed, right? Like it's moments and shit like that. But anyways, one of the two of them guys said that they had no plan B, right? Like, and fuck Cortez, but when Cortez got to South America, he burned his ships, right? Sometimes you really got to let your balls hang out and risk in order to achieve a goal, especially if you're going to do something that few have done or no one has done in a particular place, a particular time, these kind of things. When you're risking like that, sometimes you have to cut off your safety net so that you actually really try all the time. You know what I mean?
Right. And that's what I'm learning. And this goes into a lot of things that I don't want to say, but I'm going to keep it as short and sweet because you've been with me for a long time. That day where that event almost happened,
Mm-hmm.
After a year or so, or it's about to be 2 years since that, all my family members, most of my friends, they've all said, at first we thought you were being a little too harsh about like, damn, I should have let it happen, da da da, this and that. And now they're all kind of like, after what we've seen after that event, yeah, like, not to wish ill on somebody, but like, you'd probably be in a better space mentally if you could break down for 2 days and just like collapse, like
Yeah.
you need one of them, like nobody's in the house, it's quiet, I'm sitting on my bed looking at the ceiling and not having to hear, close the window.
Yeah, I was talking with Universal Discourse the other night, and I was talking about like my stream, the way that I run it, the way that I do these interviews and shit is like something that I value is the ability to not have to watch my own back, right? To relax in a space, and that's what I try to create on my stream. There is zero time when I'm going to take something that somebody said out of context and fuck them over with it, or I'm going to debate the shit. I might challenge your ideas, but I'm not going to debate you, right? Like, you come in here, you take your shoes off, you sit on the couch, you put your feet up, and you fucking relax. You know what I mean?
Yes, heavily. And I've asked myself that question. I know we're going away from the topic because that's what we do. But I asked myself that question a lot. Like, how much different would my life be if I could just get up at like 3 o'clock in the morning and say, yo, I missed today's stream. I'm just going to stream from 3 a.m. to 11 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody's going to be surprised by it. And I'm not going to get bothered by it because I slept all day. I had my little, and I even, like, I've tried to tell this to my father a lot. Like, yo, your presence creates tension in my life. Because as you just saw, it's positive sometimes, and then it's not positive the rest.
Mm-hmm.
And that starts to wear down after a while, especially when somebody's trying to, like, accelerate to this level. It's like, yo, if I was popping and I had 25,000 people here, this would be an embarrassment. Not because people would be like, oh my God, you still live with your dad. It's because the reckoning of them knowing that at any given time, I'm not in the right headspace because my dad's doing something weird, or the house isn't in a certain state, or, I'm depressed because of something he said earlier. It's like that support felt minimal to me as I was growing up. Like, I'm good in school. I'm good with my friends. I'm good with people. I got in like 3 fights, like nothing was really bad happening. And then I recognized half that time, I just wasn't saying much to anybody because I was more concerned with my home life.
Mm-hmm.
And the stories that I've built up from it, the things I couldn't say to people, the things that like I've kept buried down, all of that has to come out now, because as we've just talked about, people say life is short, and I do not agree. I think life is long as fuck, especially when you live with regret. And I know I might not be able to speak on certain situations until certain people like leave my life, but at the same time, I can't pretend to hide that anymore. And that's kind of the bridge of what I want to continue to do and what I want to continue to see creators do as they start to gain more notoriety. Make your space about you. I don't give a fuck about the Twitter drama. I don't give a fuck about what Lonerbox said to you. I don't give a fuck about none of these people. At the end of the day, what are you providing? Because if this is content where it's just bickering back and forth with each other, then I guess we could keep this cycle going forever. But you are sapping the energy out of these chatters, and you don't treat them as chatters. You treat them as like objects. You don't treat them as people. You know, these people are investing their time and money into seeing you be successful and probably have a roof over your head. And the best you could give back to them is like your anguish on somebody's misrepresented take of yours. Yeah, you could miss me with that.
Yeah, no, 100%. Like, yeah, I mean, we watched a certain individual go on an arc that took them into being that kind of rage person, and for their health and good, they appear to have gotten away with that, but like their arc is now kind of, because now they're chasing that same level of shit that they were before, unfortunately, and that's going to take you to weird places, right? Like, again, like one of the things that you and I both, ascribe to is that I'm never going to say anything that I can't either back up or correct. And I'm never going to, get hooked on some shit. And you're never going to be able to pop off with some shit that I said at a weird time or anything else like that. It's just never going to happen. But to bring this conversation around to AI real quick, when I was talking with Pyro, we talked about the fact of like, the future socialist utopia, right? One of the things that we appreciate about people, where a lot of our creativity has come from, is struggle, right? Some sort of challenge, like some of the art and poetry that came out from soldiers after World War I had like this, this visceral experience to it, things like that. Do you think that like you would be as creative as you are had you not gone through the struggles that you have?
That's one of them life-changing questions. Like, who the fuck starts a conversation like that? I just sat down. Wait, that took me for a loop because like I saw kind of where he was going, and then you just asked it. I'm like, whoa, okay. That's a Nardwuar question right there.
If you don't feel comfortable answering it out the box,
no, I do. I'm open. You already know I'm more than willing. No, I think a lot of my I'll backhandedly answer this just so it makes more sense. I think that I do write from a place of trauma.
Mm-hmm.
I do think that I would be the same type of creative. I don't know if it would have this much depth though.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that comes a lot from knowing in my core how horrible people can be treated and trying to get not only them, but me to escape that for a few.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I kind of can't do like empty content, because it only pacifies a feeling that I need to get off my chest.
Right.
And so to answer your question, no, to be honest with you, I don't think I would be if I had finished college the way I was supposed to, if I had got the job as a music teacher, if I would have just been inserted into like whatever world we're in, and like, I had my own place already and this and that, I probably would have met different people. I would have took way different arcs. The idea of being depressed and missing an opportunity leading to another opportunity popping up, I probably wouldn't have even been the teacher that I was if I didn't go through it, because I would have never had that reference to hear what a child was saying and say, oh, I can think a level lower as well. Like, I can also recognize, yo, you be misbehaving a lot. But when it's time for the parents to come pick up their kids, you're the only kid that the parent doesn't come to pick up. I've been there. I've been left at a fucking after school center till 6 o'clock and had to wait for my father to come pick me up. Been there. Like, I know more about what other people go through because I've gone through it. And it puts a certain identifying element into all of my work because there's just that tone of and not personality, but like personality that comes with everything that I say, because I know if I were to just leave this like let's say I write a poem or something and it's about a love story between a boy and a girl. Sure, that's cool and I got the words to match it. But like, it's different to tell just a regular tale about it and have good words than to not have good words, but tell that tale as like, yo, we both wanted to keep seeing each other and we knew college was coming. And then I found out I couldn't afford to, nor was I mentally ready to leave the house for 6 months at a time. But she felt like she was. And it put a wedge between us because her family's about to go into debt for this college. So staying with me in the city sounds like a better idea for everybody. But for her alone, her journey is not to be tethered. She comes from a decent home. She comes from a place where, you know, I've got two parents. I've got a little sister. I've got my own room. There's 2 floors. We own our own house. All these intricate layers are things that I don't think a lot of people can see if they just go through their youth without having to think about it. You know what I mean? These stories that we tell to our kids, they're kind of like replications of things that I've been through with my father. They're kind of replications of things that I've been through with my sisters. They're replications of the environment that I've been in, and which I had to understand. I'm not naturally a violent person. I'm not naturally a negative Nancy. I'm not naturally I'm looking to fight somebody. But I have to respond to people who are. In a school like the one that I talked about just recently, that 191 school where they were mixing underprivileged kids and higher education, overprivileged kids, whatever you want to call it, privileged and underprivileged, we'll put it that way. When you mix those two together, the conversations they have are those exact same duplications, those exact same replications, but it's now layered with the era of technology and the history that they can look up on YouTube and that they're on Twitter. And this wasn't at the time, but Vine, you know, all of those things, like they were growing with it and then seeing people who couldn't even afford phones. I can't be that person that's been like, well, yeah, I got the iPhone, you know, I got the iPhone 15. If your phone not connected to the Wi-Fi, I can't help you, bro. Got to upgrade your phone. It's like, no. Okay, I understand. Give me 5 minutes and I'm going to help you get like all the resources that you need. Don't worry about it. It's fine. Like, you see the tone difference leads to a ripple shift in their lives, which then leads to a ripple shift in how they might approach their parents. And then it becomes almost the worthiest burden to say, knowing what I've gone through can help stop literally the conversational situations where everybody else has to go through. That's my answer.
That's a fair answer.
I try my hardest.
So, I assume since you wanted to take the time, you looked over the article, you got some ideas of what you want to talk about related to the article.
Yes, I do. If you allow me to, I've knocked out the check. To bridge this conversation, I ask myself, like, I just started using ChatGPT today. Josie called me earlier today, and she was like, "I'm using ChatGPT to write up these drafts," and I was like, "I'm staying away from it." Because like that feels like I'm helping usher in the end of the world. Like, I just for the sake of like, I'm not ready to launch myself into being able to complete 60 things at once in like 20 minutes and then being gone with my day. Like, that don't feel right. I feel like it's got to be generated by me, my personality, my everything. I started using it today and I had a little bit of fun with it. And then I thought to myself immediately, if this could help my career like jumpstart itself, if I could start writing video essay prompts and live stream essay prompts and then creating long dialogues of text that I could fix up in 10 minutes and then have a stream set up where I've got hours of just reading my words as I've, you know, obviously put myself into it. I thought to myself, that means everybody else can do that.
Mm-hmm.
Which immediately knocks the novelty, and it puts me right back in the same position that I'm in, that I was in earlier in this conversation. Okay, now everybody got access to the tool. What makes you special? And it gets even more dangerous because even though you could put yourself into it, everybody using it. So everybody putting themselves into it. Some people have plagiarized it straight from the site. What ideas are original anymore? It scrapes the entirety of the internet, puts together what you like it to put together and makes it work and this and that. My question is, if this tool is widely used by everybody, what does that mean for the people who have to compete against it now, or compete with it, I should say?
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't add me any. It feels like, to be honest with you, as this is directly related to the article, as my first thought, it feels like we're entering an era where we knew what we said we wanted to happen is happening. Automation is going to eventually take over certain jobs. I don't think anybody was shooting for like art to be one of these few. But then in that you have coding, copy, proposals, drafts, speeches, all of that. What happens to all those people? Mm-hmm. We are entering an era where not only is competition larger than ever, but there's no, and this is such a fucked thing for me to say, but I'm gonna say it anyway. We're entering a point where the competition barrier is also non-existent. Everybody can hop on in. You got Google and Wi-Fi, you got ChatGPT. It's free. Mm-hmm. If that helps land somebody else a job, that means everybody else who uses ChatGPT and is wise with it, you got to get good at ChatGPT now. We need somebody who knows how to work the prompts. We need somebody who knows how to do. You see what I mean? It's like I can shave off so much of my existence just by this one device, this one tool, this one app, this one, the hammer, and I'm making the wheel. In my head, I'm like, okay, so if we're already at this point and it's already entered the workforce, when are we going to talk about automation taking more jobs than there are available? And when does that lead to universal basic income?
Mm-hmm.
Because if everybody can use ChatGPT, we need to develop a society based around what we can now not have other people need to do. Okay, so you don't need 60 copy people in a boardroom to write out 60 drafts of an episode. You got your script, you feed it into ChatGPT, give me a 10-part episode, and then I'll go through it and like, oh, that's a cool idea. No, I actually like this, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so for the 65 other people, or sorry, the 59 other people, what do? Nobody has an answer to this question. Do you have an answer to this question? What do those 59 other people do?
Of course I have an answer to this question. So one of the things, as the old man in the room, I've noticed when I was a kid, I come from the era where
keep talking.
We had like 4 channels, right? Like a handful of channels. You had 2, 4, 7 on a rotary dial that you would turn, and then you had UHF, where you had like, that's where Fox comes from, right? Like for me, it was channel 29, and then there was a channel 49, and occasionally you'd get like weird Canadian stations and shit like that. But you watch what you watch when it was on. Like this is before we had like
on demand. You remember
even before VCRs, right? Like you couldn't even sit and record shit. Go ahead.
No. I was going with you. Sorry.
Yeah.
The way I converse, I think you even realize it works so much better when you're in the room with somebody.
Word.
Like I'm one of them. Like I've had people want you already watched. You already know. Why do I keep pretending like these people don't know? Like we've been together for almost like a year. Come on, they know. Anyway, so I was gonna say, yeah, like I remember me and my dad watched Rush Hour 2, had to have been like 80 times. because there just wasn't nothing on TV. And in my brain, I never thought to say, wow, there's nothing on TV because I'm not allowed to select what I like watch. It's just they provide, you look. Now we're in an era where it's like you provide, they look.
Right.
And we haven't even adapted our society to that yet. Like, I feel like there's just so much to be examined when we talk about media consumption. Like, you could probably spend like the rest of your life really thinking about how fast it went from channel 3 and channel 4 to channel 3 through 11. Then it was like public access station, a public broadcasting station, channel 13. Then that became big. Then they opened up a bunch of more mini local stations, depending on where you lived. And then like more networks were like, yo, we could show movies. We could show sports. We could show card games. We could show dramas. We could make our own movies and show them. And it's like, I can't even begin to fathom, and please help me understand this. What do you feel, and this can be general because I know you can make a case different for this for minorities. What do you feel is what do you feel should be the necessary end goal that we should move forward to now that this technology is almost a mainstay in our lives? In this form, I should say, because, AI works on, maps, predictive text and shit like that. Sure, but like this is different.
If I could put on my hopium hat, right? Like what I would like to see out of AI, what is the number one issue, especially with someone like yourself on Twitch? Discoverability. Right? Like you are not being put in the position where people can find you. And there's a bunch of reasons for it, but I think one of the biggest, related to what we just said, is we have gone from a handful of channels to so much on-demand content that you can't possibly keep up with it. So there are so many people streaming on Twitch that there are good content creators who just never end up on anybody's radar. So if the AI knew more about my habits and what I like to watch, it would find me more people, like yourself, like Wake the Beast, right? Like Levelhead. Like, these are the people that I associate with. These are what I should be seeing in front of me. I don't want to see, fucking gamer dude. I don't really give a shit about soccer. There's a bunch of shit I don't give a shit about that ends up on my front page. I would like AI to provide me, at the very least, with more curated content. The problem becomes the advertising dollar. Maybe you just make it a paid service, right? Like, I pay $12.95 a month for Twitch, and I get something more akin to Netflix, where I am generally suggested things that are related to things that I've liked before. And I think AI is definitely capable of doing that. It's just whether or not it's going to be profitable enough, and whether or not Twitch and Amazon and Jeff think it's, profitable enough.
Profit. It's always profit.
What does it profit a man if he loses his soul?
See, it'd be shit like that that be making me think in the back of my head. Y'all really hope there's a hell, because a lot need eternal suffering. As a whole week. And if there isn't, then wow, we've been playing this game wrong. Guess we'll never know. That's the double-edged sword of it for me. Is like, it's such a tool that could break capitalism by making it so transparently obvious.
Mm-hmm.
But how much comes in an ad campaign to dissuade people from believing that. What was it? Prop 41 or something like that, or Prop 42, Prop not. It's one of those propositions that was in California about Uber drivers.
Mm-hmm.
And like the company spent like millions of dollars pushing ads saying, "Yo, don't do this." Yes, it's windy and it's gonna snow. It's like I'll be losing it because it's like, yes, these things should be free. These things should not be put around an immediate paywall because then you're going to exclude a lot of poor people and that's going to be a lot of marginalized people.
Mm-hmm.
So good on you. Things should be more free. Things should be more developed. Things should be more open and access to the public. But if you could make a profit, would you? If you could shave off a couple employees and replace it with ChatGPT, would you? For the solo fuck it. We back to the same fucking point. Because my dad just left, so now I can finally be my fucking self. Fuck it, we back to the same point. A person is smart. People are dumb, panicky animals, and you know it. 1,500 years ago, we saw war. The earth was the center of the universe. 500 years ago, we swore the earth was flat. And about 20 minutes ago, you all swore that ChatGPT was like only beneficial. Imagine what you'll know tomorrow. Anyway,
I get it is one thing that irritates me about that is the falsehood about the whole earth being flat 500 years ago. That's a fucking old wives' tale. It irritates me every time I hear it because I'm that guy who could fuck up a joke by like, describing the scientific validity of your fucking joke. So I'm that asshole. But anyways, yeah, I mean, one of the questions that comes up, like with the if AI gets us to a jobless society, then you have to do something, right? If you're in power, if you're in authority, if you have the money or whatever the fuck, you need to do something, or you get French Revolution style overthrow off with their heads cut into action. They're going to have to do something, and the two main directions are UBI, free healthcare, opiate of the masses, whatever, just keep us happy and compliant, or another thing which would be really dark and bad and no one would like it, but then that feeds itself, because if you go into some massive repression campaign and like just terrible working conditions and I don't want to say slavery, but fucking slavery, you are going to reach a point where the people just don't put up with it, right? Like, we reject that kind of situation out of hand. And I think that things like television and the way that, most people normies approach their, relationship with politics and everything else, is that we would be happy to just be like taken care of to a certain level, that give us some money so that we got some food, give us some health care, and people would generally be okay with that. That's really how I feel that this thing can go on a long enough timeline.
I'm afraid that's not easy enough to digest. I'm gonna hit you with a ChatGPT. I'm gonna hit you with a ChatGPT prompt. I need you to expand on that. Are you referring to mechanisms of this? Are you referring to mechanisms of the state, or are you referring to mechanisms of humans, societies?
I'm in what sense? Like, related to what?
Okay, so this can get pulled in either direction, right?
Sure.
Capitalism can steal its soul, turn it a profit, turn it against people, propaganda, etc., blah, blah, blah. We've kind of already seen it pop up a little, which is a little crazy for me to say out loud in the year 2023, and it's only fucking March, but we'll get there. We'll get there when we get there. Or it could go in the opposite direction and be like a super useful tool for humanity, and it's already showing itself to be a super useful tool for humanity. Like, you know, like, cool, dope, sweet. What about a secret third thing, though? Are there mechanisms, either of the state or the people, that could be clicked at any moment from now until, you know, something big happens that can turn this in either direction? That's what I'm asking. Are you referring to the machinas of the state, or are you referring to like, or could you be referring to like human intervention? Like, do you think so? To translate that into a question that normal people can understand. I know I hear myself. I don't want nobody to ever think I don't hear myself. Trust me. I know I'll be dumb as shit sometimes, but it makes sense when you put it in your head. Anyway, do you think people would do you think normal everyday people would see this as like the rise of the influencer? Oh, I can use ChatGPT to start up a whole new thing and make a business out of it. Or do you think corporations and the government would be more willing to click it down and be like, we'll use this for propaganda to help keep our people safe? That type of shit. Which mechanisms are moving for these things to go in either direction?
Computer says both. I think that again, in the same way that we've expanded from a handful of channels to all this content, the mechanisms that you're talking about of the way that people will interact with something like ChatGPT and like something like Streamlabs, which provides you with a more curated setup to make your stream look pretty. I think that more people will have the opportunity to show themselves off, and at the same time, like the way, like the law says, the Supreme Court ruled that the United States cannot just take some data, right, in the government. But by that same ruling, the government can buy that data from other companies that collect that data, and it's okay because you click the terms of service for them to do so. So I think that you will see mechanisms of the government still doing that as it goes forward, right? Like now we have, or we're getting ChatGPT enabled systems in Discord. We're getting chat enabled systems fucking everywhere. Like every time I turn around, there's another article about how they're adding it to another service. And you are going to interact with that, and who's to say that they couldn't just have something that influences the discourse? Right? What are your incentives? That's really what it comes down to. And we don't control the incentives of government. We don't control the incentives of capitalism. And if you don't control those incentives, they're going to create their own, and they are going to do the things that end up making us unhappy. Is that a fair answer?
Now I ask you, for your audience and mine, because I don't want to say it because I talk too much. Can you explain to people why the interests of those outside of us would make us unhappy?
They're like, I just listened to a few different there was this group getting together to talk about AI capitalism. You know, does capitalism as it exists reflect the like capitalism being an AI system in and of itself, the way that the algorithms are set up within these AI systems? And first off, I would like to say that if we could provide those like scholarly people with some knowledge on how to set up some proper audio and some proper lighting and get a decent camera, it'd be great, because it's annoying as shit to go from Twitch to these academics with their peaking microphones and everything. But there, you end up with a thing called perverse incentives when you don't regulate. Okay, so we're all aware of how AI has publicly in previous moments gone off the rails, said something offensive, this kind of shit. Then what happens after somebody notices the problem? There's a feedback, and they fix it, or they just pull it and make it go away. One of the two. Capitalism doesn't do that, right? In capitalism, if it is left unfettered, if it's left unregulated, it seeks profit. And it will begin to care less and less about the externalities of acquiring that profit. And I don't think a better in your face, oh my God, I can't believe you're doing this example was after the rail accident in East Palestine. They offered like them 25 grand in a town of 5,000 to have a nice day, right? Like, you are so disconnected from the human condition at that point that somebody just like, that feels like a computer thing to say. Like, you know, it valued the human lives and everything, and it spit out the number 25 grand, $5 a person. Right? That's how much I got from Experian after they had their or the other one, I can't remember which one, but they had their data leak where my data is now available on the fucking internet.
Experian.
Yeah.
Was it Experian?
Equifax.
It was an Equifax. Yeah.
That's the one. I confuse the two. They look the same to me, right?
Hey, their credit is fake. So
credit
whatever.
is totally fake. I have been a debt collector. I was educated on credit reports, the way credit works. It's fake. It's fake as fuck. Like, there's formula that they use to determine that shit that no one gets to see except for the people who work for the companies and surrounded by NDAs. It is so fake. It is such garbage. How does it make sense to give the person who can afford the additional money the 0% interest, and the person who can't afford the additional money 25% interest? How does that make sense?
Because they're more of a flight risk, so we charge them more, so we make sure that they pay on time, you know? And it's like, yo, that's the whole point, bro. When we like, your system is literally designed at its word, to let rich people slide on owing shit.
Yep.
So why don't they just keep fucking borrowing, bro? Like, you know they good for it, right? If I got $6 billion in the bank, you lend me $1 million. You know I'm good for it, bro. But if I disappear, you really gonna come after me? You know I'm good for it, bro. I just tell you what, I give you 1.5 million a year, just on GP. Just give me some time to build it. But I know you got $6 billion in the bank, bro. Oh, so maybe we should charge the rich people who default a lot more because it makes sense to kind of go after them a lot harder. But I wonder why. Oh, because as they borrow money, you can raise the credit on the poor people. And when they default, you do that shit with the CDOs. Yeah, I was there for the 2007. I was there. I saw a little something. I was there. And then you make little tiny side bets on whether or not these people. So then you wrap up all these credit reports into these bullshit ass little trundles, these little bunches, and then you claim that all of them together, since one has a this 13% fail rate, 25% fail rate, 50% fail rate, 60% fail rate, you know, you wrap all those and then the average comes in real nice. And who cares if one or two people inside this little thing don't pay their shit? We'll just charge more to more people, and we'll just keep raising the floor for everybody and keeping it low for the rich people because, well, they can pay it back. And then it starts to get closer and closer. And then we're coming to take your house and your child. Are you going to stop us? We're the IRS. We're the federal government. We're like the mafia. We can take anything we want. Like, anyway, sorry. On that tangent, that's what I mean about this conversation is like two-sided. Can now people fight their cases better because ChatGPT might be able to give them some hint towards a law that they were unaware of? Can more people figure out their rights because it's not a Google search in which you're trying to figure out if somebody's steering you in the wrong way, but because it'll scrape the entire internet and give you the best result possible, the best things to say, the best things you might need, more resources that these other companies put at arm's length away from people and then dangle it around them. You know, oh, if you just went to the website and pressed this, that, and the other, you would have known that this, that, and the other is here. And it's like, I didn't ask you that. I asked you, why was it so hard for me to figure out that you had the form WL6? Why didn't you tell me? Why is the form named WL6? It helps us code it. It doesn't help me figure it out. What the fuck is a form L6? The fuck is a form WL6? Like, form W4. That don't even be making sense when you say it. Where's my W2 at? Why is it called that? Right. Yo, why is it called that? I'm just saying, okay, so it can help a lot of people figure that out. How fast could they figure that out before corporations like, yo, look, so we've been losing a lot of cases for our shit as of late, especially our rental properties. And it's because they're using your site. Now, we're not saying that, they can't just Google this shit and find it. But it's putting it in a very hard way to argue, almost as though people are starting to think they have rights or some shit. So listen, how about I just slide you a bill and you just unlist us from your website? How about that?
Yeah,
sure. Sorry sorry. And sure, like, okay, this is a really fucking rare situation. We watched it happen. We just 24 hours ago, literally just watched the U.S. say, "Hey, we ain't trying for war crimes because that might set a precedent." Precedent for what, motherfucker? Like, if this is possible on this scale, then okay, so my main point of everything that I was replying to is that you had said all of that, and I was like, oh, that's very cute. See, me, I don't got time for that. Because what I would have said is, oh, you don't think like people that don't like know you will do things that'll make you feel better? Have you looked at the current state of the United States? I rest my case. Like, I would have just that's why I hate these fucking debate panels. That's why I hate that. There it is. There's my core for why I want to be at the fucking top. Because, yo, what questions are you making me answer, bro?
Right.
I lost 174 people to a pandemic. 175. My boy Ant just died. Like, universal healthcare is something, bro. Like, I'm already at the point where, like, I have lost a section of my life. If I died tomorrow, there is a portion of my life, unless I spoke about it on this channel and have uploaded it, there is a portion of my life that is just straight up gone. And that's not even talking about every other family. Like, I put this in my perspective because I really don't want to weigh on people's heads saying shit like, oh, I may be in pain, but like, did you think about the fact that I just told you like 175 different family members from 175 different families no longer have a family member around? Like, maybe multiple? It's like, of course this shit is bad. Like, I'm telling you right here, this is bad. Can we have a different conversation? Maybe a deeper one? No, you're making it about Idpol and yourself. Bringing it back to the conversation. And it's something that you didn't mention this entire time. and I was hoping you would.
Uh-oh.
Let me reference it directly from the article itself.
Oh, we haven't even gotten into the article yet.
I've been trying to weave in a couple of points from it.
Word, but like we're almost an hour in and we haven't even got to the article. This is what content creators. We are content creators. We literally create content, and we ain't arguing. I'm not making fun of his, mother. He's not making fun of my face. It's like let's be people and have a good time.
And oh my God, you can literally, and then you know what's crazy about it too? Is that it really boils down to like people yelling. Because at the same time, I'm thinking to myself, yeah, it might be us too. But if we had 3, 4, we've been in those situations already together. Like,
right.
It's never one of these, like, it's never one of those, and you still get the same people talking over each other. You still get somebody running their mouth too long. You still get the questions that lead into digression. You still get the disagreements. You still get the different points of view. You still get the, okay, well, if you say that, then we got to talk about that. You still get that. So are you all immature? And then it starts to get me on that pedestal. And that's where I'll stop walking, because it's like, nah, if that's what the people want, that's what the people want. I'm just saying, you complain about like this shit being the only thing out here. Oh, no, man, sounds like you're not doing enough looking. You got comfortable. Oh my God, that's almost like what we started the conversation with. Oh, at the hour mark, he's wrapping it around, especially for the top of the hour ad break. You got to wrap these around, because every hour on the hour, I run a top of the hour ad break, and one's coming to you right now. If you no longer want to see the ads, you can subscribe for free or for $4.99, or you can be gifted a sub by anybody from the community. You could be gifted a sub by anybody watching. You could gift a sub anonymously, so I don't have to shout out your name. Cool shit happens. Go sub to that channel as well, because like this is the person creating the content with the person. This is the person. This is his show. This is his show. That's his show. This is his show. See, and not my show. I tell you, it's not my show, because you feel me. Top of the hour ad. Oh, I was holding that shit in so bad. I wanted to say it like 10 minutes ago when you gave me that like nice pause, and I was just like, anyway. Damn, bro, it's been so long since I've read the top of the hour, and I was going to go into it, and I was like, no, there's an honest point to be made. Anyway, so what I'm saying is like, ChatGPT helps those people too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh shit, my viewers are going down. Let me try to make a conversation on why this is good. I don't actually know anything about it. I'll just read it off of ChatGPT. And then, like, they don't double check their facts. They make a claim. Somebody clips that, says, why would you make this claim? They go back and forth on Twitter. It gets louder. Other people comment on it. Let's have a panel on the discussion. Oh, shit, he's here. Oh, shit, they had a voice chat. Oh, shit, it's getting heated. Oh, shit, you're a dumb fuck. Oh, shit, oh, shit, oh, shit. I'm covering the VOD. I'm covering the VOD. I'm covering the VOD. Oh, my God. Like, shut the fuck up. Holy shit. And that's what I mean. That's a human right. That's a human right. That they should also be allowed to use ChatGPT to stir up dumbass drama. My thing is like, if you're going to stir up dumbass drama, use ChatGPT to create a storyline.
Mm-hmm.
Play it out. Feel for it. Act with it. Me and Maddie, literally every time I see her and I'm like, yo, who let this dumb bitch on the platform? And it's like everybody go, yo, and then she'll quit back, and they're like, yo, and then we laugh and like, okay, that's our drama for the day.
Right.
Clip it, react to it, do what you want. It's the same all around. And they should also have the right to use ChatGPT to come up with this shit. But as that article stated, is this ever going to just like turn into like, a massive benefit where everybody starts creating better? Or will it devolve into chaos like every AI bot that we've seen that ends up saying some Nazi shit? Are there random 4chaners like constantly making new web pages about Hitler, making new web pages hiding this? We've seen it with the Bored Ape Nazi Club.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there are levels to this that I feel like are always in play. And maybe that's because I'm not privileged to ignore these levels. but I always think about the advancement of technology as like, can we get it? Can we have our mechanism click in automatically for us to say, all right, here we are. This is it. We don't want X, Y, and Z to happen. X, Y, and Z must not happen. Does everybody agree? All 50 states, we have our little local conferences, we have our state conferences, and then we get to the governor conferences. Everybody's talking about the direct will of the people. We made a list of the top 50 concerns with this new technology. We then compiled multiple surveys, multiple from everybody. Same way we do the census, we did it for this. We started, let's say, okay, for the sake of it, let's say we started including these questions on the census. All right, that gets translated directly the same way we do votes. Sorry for those of you election deniers in this bitch. We collect the votes, we do it like a Scantron, same thing. The ones that come up with the highest percentage are the things that are talked about most likely in this bill. Spending $50 billion to have a huge piece of, let's say, fuck it, NASA, like delve deep into this AI and figure out what makes it tick to the point where it could be used for something bad. Okay, now we know how to build a digital code that looks at the images you put and is able to discern if there's a meaning beyond it. Then we get it moderated by a human team, which we paid for, which was agreed for by everybody in the United States, because we all came together and said, this is cool, but I think we all agree we don't want that. Yeah, there'll be a couple Nazi people who'll be like, oh no, I want that, but hopefully they'll be the minority. That's what we always hope. Every single piece of technology just always makes me think, yo, at what point, at what moment does that damn crack and nobody was paying attention?
So you mentioned how, like, you know, AI is gone with saying some shit. It's always the people who do that. Like, we are trying to break stuff all the time, and like, you know, the whole Hitler Nazi thing did start as a joke in the bowels of 8chan, 4chan, all that shit. It's just it took on a life of its own to the point where now people are doing it to try and, you know, like, break the system. What's his name's law? Godwin's law, right? Like, how quickly do you get to, you know, calling somebody a Nazi or Hitler in your argument, shit like that. It's the perverse incentives. It's the same thing all the way up and down. The AI is fine. The machine learning, the device, the tool, the software, it's fine. It's just being fed a lot of horseshit by the people, right? And we can't like fix the people, right? Like, we can fix the people by providing them with health care and mental health care and, you know, taking care of their basic needs and all this shit to make better people, but we can't like fix the people. So we blame the AI because we can fix the AI on a whim, right? It doesn't have a soul. But this is one of the places where, like, capitalism is the same thing. Capitalism is 4chan on crack, right? Like, it is just running. It has its incentives. No one's stopping it.
Yeah, I need that as a sound clip. Holy shit. Capitalism is just 4chan on crack. Yeah, yo.
I'll get it for you later today.
Oh my God, yo. Jesus. Yeah, I'm gonna just say this as the wildest joke. If we were having like a podcast episode, I'm gonna just say this is the wildest joke. That one hit a little deeper than I think you reckon. Oh fuck, bro. Good times, good stuff. Anyway, as you were saying, sorry.
Yeah, no, yeah. It suffers from, you know, like, perverse incentives. like whenever anybody, and this is why I don't do panels, those style debates. I'll do a regular panel. I'll talk to people. I'll talk to whoever the fuck. But I don't want to fucking have a debate with one of these jackasses, because every time I spend more than 5 seconds listening to them, they're not properly analyzing, the details of their own argument. Like, we can't get food to X place. I have brought up on multiple occasions a website that you can go to and you can track every single ship in the world. And, we have all these mechanisms of transmission. We have all these mechanisms of production. We have all these things. And it's just a matter of getting this stuff to the people who need it. And then once all the needs are satisfied, to the people who want it. And if the
Right.
AI can do that better, what's your data set going to look like, and what commands are you going to give the AI? If you want to tell the AI to maximize for like human longevity, human happiness, something like that, you are going to get one set of instructions from the AI on how to, construct your society in order to do that. But if you tell the AI, I need you to maximize for dollars, now you have created a situation where you are going to get the AI. Okay, well, you have a bunch of people who live in a place in Arizona that's very hard to get food and water to. Maybe those people should just die, right? And that's an extreme statement because we're not there yet. But again, we just crashed a fucking train into East Palestine, and there's a bunch of people who are going to be living with health conditions for the rest of their lives and their future generations, and we offered them $5 each, or the train company offered them $5 each. It's not as extreme as it sounds that we would just wall off some people to just die. I want the AI to maximize for human benefit, because if it doesn't, we get really ugly outcomes. We are going to have, eventually, people hit a tipping point. We hit it with George Floyd, at least temporarily. People will have enough, and it takes some people to step forward, but that's what would happen if we started walling off people to die. And that's just not good for humanity. You know what I mean?
Oh my God. Yo, you know where we've ended up? No funny shit. No funny shit. Yo, everybody who's listening right now, I need you to react to this because you know it's about to be a banger. We've hit the Omni-Man argument. We've hit the Omni-Man argument. Holy shit. Are you aware of, have you watched, it's a show on Amazon based on a comic. It's called Invincible.
I have both watched the show twice and read the manga. Come at me.
Ooh. Okay, you ahead of me. I've seen some spoilers, so like I'm aware of like I think what happens much later on, but I don't know about the journey at all. So like, is season 2 out?
No, they just what I've read is related to what's actually been on television. So there's
Okay.
no spoilers to offer.
Okay. Okay. So, yeah, the Omni-Man argument. Like humans live in disease. Humans live in filth. Humans live like every day, functionally like killing each other. Like you just said, we're just walling off and naturally shedding, the bad parts of our society.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, yo, let's just accelerate that process. Like, to them, I am a god. You can't kill me. So, like, I can burn through your planet in a second. I can make y'all strong. Just cull off the weak, and then the strong live, and we burn. It's that argument.
Mm-hmm.
It's this. I don't know if humans do it to ourselves, if we asked for this. Like, I understand on a, let's say, primal level. the greater form of educating and growing a masses as we have an intelligent species to be able to survive and thrive. But like for me, I've always thought, then why is it the materials to make everyone's life better are there and we just choose to not use them? Like, okay, so food, there's so much food waste. That means that we are making more food than people are literally eating. There are people who starve. Why isn't that mechanism automatically clicked? We're already doing it.
Right.
Like it's there. It's not some pipe socialist, whatever, blah, 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 utopia dream. It's here as of like, for any chatter here right now, like by 7 o'clock, it's here.
Right.
30 minutes from now, it's here. So why doesn't that just click in? Why should senior citizens over the age of, let's say, 63, any retired senior citizen, just immediately get groceries delivered to their door? Therefore, they no longer have to think about like having to lug any groceries. They live up 4 flights, etc. We open those jobs up to kids in the neighborhood. So from the hours of, let's say, 3 to 7, there's a bunch of teenagers that come from high school. They get a free job and they just deliver groceries to people in the neighborhood. They meet people, community grows. I'm sorry. What I'm saying to you is, Globus, is how come ChatGPT can't come up with that? You're going to say to me, and everybody on earth, the millions of people using this right now would say, it could. Okay, so if the mechanism's there, you can understand the thought. AI can understand the thought. How many people going to starve tonight? And then everybody stops. Everything just stops. And it's crazy because we'll talk about it as corporations needing a profit margin to survive and give people jobs. All I want is for somebody to have $20 in their hand every day. You start out the day with $20. Figure it out from there. Oh, how are they going to pay rent? I didn't say they had to.
Right.
Like, having and knowing this perspective, it begs the question. We are talking about AI as a possible snap in capitalism. It could be the Thanos snap. Opens the floodgates, more market, more demand. Everybody's using ChatGPT. Everybody's putting their spin on it. Work is becoming personal again. Everybody has a beautiful prompt maker, but it's the humanity that's shining through. But the corporations say, who gives a shit? Once we put it out, they're not going to care who wrote it. This was written by a Black woman, prove it. We already distrust each other. I just retweeted something that Nina Turner posted where it was like, some Republicans said something about we need to get people from welfare to work. We can't be paying people to just sit on the ass, which is crazy because I feel like that was, we're not going to get into that right now. And then Nina responded, most people, literally the majority of people on public assistance do work. That's the whole point of bridging the gap. Anyway, a bunch of replies are sitting there saying, well, I have a friend that has collected it for 10 years and they haven't worked a day in their life. Those are the people I'm worried about, and he's perfectly able. And in the back of my head, I'm like, yo, I've literally found evidence of actual troll bot users from different countries engaging in US like political discourse. I'm already at the point where I can't fucking trust like the legitimacy of people who just sit up on the internet and lie. But I'm also aware that there are bots that can also be programmed with Chat GPT. That's what's scary to me. I wouldn't do that. But just like the possibility of us feeding everybody, that's also a possibility.
Mm-hmm.
And that's my biggest question. That's my biggest concern. That's my biggest query. As to, can this really break capitalism? Yeah, it depends on who recognizes what first. Because what I just said about the fact that we have food waste in this country, like perfectly good, uneaten food that just gets tossed into landfills and then into our oceans, like, you want me to believe that we can't fix that issue, even though I've outlined that it is literally possible one way or and I know I hear people saying, oh, but what if we poison the food after and it kills off all the homeless people? You'd really hate it if there was no like leeway for that. It's like, see, even you know that negatives can come from positives. Okay, feed everyone first, worry about the second thing later. Oh, wait, instead of us worrying about it, well, we just like have a healthcare program for everybody just in case some bad shit go down. You know, I tell you what, I got a better idea. Hold on. I'm cooking. On top of that, just to make sure that you would know that these people are not like, if they end up being sick from the food or whatever, just so you know that they're not going to be like walking zombies. We could all like give these people a place to stay while they're feeling sick that's like, you know, comfortable. And of course we wouldn't want to like do it at a hospital because like that's not comfortable. You know, you can't walk around. So we got to give them a place like a hospital. There's got to be a bed. There's got to be, you know, a sink, you know, maybe a little place to make a little food. I don't know. One of them places, you know, you give them one of those. And then like you give them one of those, they're less likely to eat anything. They're more likely to be able to pick because, you know, they got the home now, so they could just go to the place and then come back. And then like if they get sick from the food, then like the healthcare thing I had said, everybody got a plan, so it's not like we're like not prepared for this. I don't know. It just seemed kind of easy to me. And it feel like, now I'm referring back to you, it feel like, yes, I'm quite aware of the dishes. I spoke to you about that literally before I started streaming. I was spitting. I'm going to continue. We build up these queries, these questions, and they have to contain the negative. For every positive reaction, there is a negative reaction. It's the way shit works. I fear this is one of the last tools we'll really get to talk about before it becomes mainstream. You know what I mean? Predictive text is great for everybody. That has no downside. You might say ducking instead of what you mean, but even that in itself is a joke. That's all it is a joke. There's no Nazi memorabilia behind it. There's no hidden club meaning. It's just a thing. Things used to just be things. Now I have to worry about how those things are used. Nobody was propagandizing me with Kingdom Hearts 2. Maybe Disney, but it depends on how you see it. You know, just recaps of movies instead of actually like a gameplay. You know what I mean? It's like top of my head. That's a propaganda. Anyway, advertisements are fine. Buy what you want. Make your children happy. Make yourself happy. Eat for the first time, realizing that there might be a day where you don't eat again. But for everything else, there's MasterCard. Yo, I don't even know how I don't know what that must have been an impulsive thought because it flowed so perfectly.
It did.
And I said it out my mouth and I was like, wait a minute.
Oh, I felt like Greycraft. I didn't even see that move coming. They telegraphed it, told me it was coming, and then.
Oh man, yeah, bro. Everything else is MasterCard. It's like, yo, I have this query that like I have this query that like I don't see what's next.
Mm-hmm.
Chat GPT got to be able to start becoming an AI at some point. That's the next development. We got to put Chat GPT. If we could get Chat GPT to mimic the way somebody's speech patterns and thoughts work, we can now literally, hopefully, at some point, begin the living memory of people. Instead of gravestones, there will be like little effigies of us controlled by a stream of, if let's say you were a content creator, like everybody at the age of 16 does like the yearly update to their memorabilia body or whatever. And after 80 years, when you pass away, it like has a full, and then like your loved ones can go there and like have conversations with you.
Mm-hmm.
And to help people grieve, instead of like, yo, we're gonna lose this person, we're gonna lose it. Even though I know there's like obviously psychological like factors here, we're talking in a roundabout way. We're not getting into the details. I am thinking about that just to keep that on the top of everybody's head. It's like it expires in like, let's say 2 months. In my head, I would immediately think, wow, they're probably going to sell you a subscription service to keep it running longer and then really play off your grief. So scrap the whole idea.
Right.
And then 6 people hear that. Somebody makes it a thing. It becomes a $1 billion idea. Oh, shit. I put it in the universe.
Mm-hmm.
But then couldn't ChatGPT just do it the same way? Couldn't it come up with the idea? Is it smarter than me? I'm pretty sure it's probably smarter than me. It should be, I hope. I hope, because there's a lot I don't know about how to shoot a basketball like all the time to get threes. I can make a couple, but like I'm pretty shit on the court. But like, can it replace me? Can it replace innovation? Yeah, it depends on who gets their hands on it. For artists, for people like me that have to create content quite literally years ahead, yeah, that's a great fucking tool. I enjoyed the shit out of learning it just now. But that's my universe.
I think one of the questions you have to ask in order to answer that question is, what actually is innovation? Isn't innovation just smashing 2 things together and seeing if it works now?
Say that one more time.
Isn't innovation just smashing 2 things together and seeing if it works now? Right? Like when you create something new, what exactly is new about it? As opposed to you took this idea and that idea and put them next to each other, and all of a sudden something new came out of it, right? But it's not new. It didn't birth itself onto the universe. It's just a particular point of view that then appeals to other people, right? Like we had computers and we had phones, and somebody put those 2 things together. That's what this is. There's nothing new here. You know what I mean?
Right.
So if innovation is just smashing 2 things together and seeing if it still works, then yes, ChatGPT could absolutely innovate. You know, ChatGPT being our stand-in avatar for every possible AI that could ever exist, right? Like, All it needs to do is be able to do that. There's a writer that I like, Warren Ellis, who unfortunately, like all things, all people, eventually became a bad person. But the one thing that they said is that their form of creation was exactly that. They would just consume a lot of media. They would consume news. They would consume anything that they could get their hands on. And then that shit bouncing off itself within Warren's skull then became his comic books. And that is the way that, in my opinion, innovation works and could totally be simulated in a digital environment by a sufficiently advanced AI.
Cagnadian said maybe it could be said as making something for a purpose or a need. That was in the article too.
Mm-hmm.
Like, is this something new or is this just like a compilation of things? And they're saying, well, I don't want it to replace a function. You know, like we have Google. Is this going to replace Google? It's like, I don't want to think about it replacing something. I want to think about it doing something. Like, I want to increase in like, okay, now it functions, you know, it has a new purpose. Like, it solves something. I think that is the idea, at least in my head, of what innovation is. It should solve something. Like, if I really want to be funny, the advent of electricity is kind of like the father of all of this. Like,
what did having a smartphone, having this little computer in your pocket, what did this solve?
That wasn't already solved by things that existed?
Yeah.
The ability, hold on. Wait.
Whatever you say, I'm going to disagree with it.
Because it's like, yeah, everybody could call everybody, and then every single app is just like a way to communicate with somebody, whether it's a game, whether it's a chat service, whether it's all of that. So like, it could functionally be the same thing.
If you take a step back and look at the smartphone, the need for it backwards propagated off the existence of it, right? You need a smartphone now. You need to have these various little apps and shit in order to communicate with people, to do your job. You need Slack because your job has Slack. You need it because it exists, not because it exists because you need it.
Okay, that makes sense. A lot of people said it's the immediacy. And then that brings up the point that you just said, is like the immediacy is dependent because they demand it be dependent. Like, a lot of us have complained about, you know, people like you just said, Slack. Like, I literally dealt with that during the pandemic. Like, you got me talking on fucking Zoom, telling me I gotta take a course on how to use Zoom. Bro, it's click open microphone and you good. Like, I'm good. Like, I stream. What the fuck are you talking about? And it's like, if we would have, and you know, I had a big piece on this, if we would have rethought education during the pandemic and maybe took a step back, it would be fucking slow, but like, you could mail shit, you could mail packets, you could we could have community outreach. There could be ways to achieve there could be ways to achieve what we do. And in that realm, even though it would be slower, that would be more, I guess, appreciative towards people's lives in a full way, if that makes sense. Sox says portable phones or anything able to send images is invaluable in the medical field. It depends on the person. I think that when you think about these things all the way through, though, of course, there are going to be specific foils, but I kind of think we live by the rules here in America and not the exceptions. And that's a funny thing to say. It's like, I can find individual cases, like even in myself, like, what did this solve? It condensed the ability to take pictures for people who were like in domestic abuse situations to like be able to photograph and video like the events that happen. Could that be achieved in a certain other way with like a camera and, you know, development and everything? The speed of it, yeah, like that's a thing, but in the earnest of like a theocratic sense, I think that's the word. And I'm only saying this because it's both ways. It's like, it's cool to have empathy for those situations, but we're already outside the realm of us talking about those situations.
Right.
That's the whole crux of this.
Right.
Is that like, we can't get to specifics, especially in this country. It doesn't work that way. And that's so funny because you would think, okay, so the worst of the worst has solutions thanks to this quote unquote innovation, but it only speeds up what should happen in the first place, is that we should generally believe people when they say this is happening.
Mm-hmm.
We should have places set up for like them to be able to escape this. This should be a default.
Right.
Like, not to say like, oh, you know, somebody would play, you know, call in a bomb threat or whatever, but like they call in bomb threats to children's hospitals. It's not impossible for them to call a bomb threat into a domestic violence shelter because they're mad their girlfriend went in there and claimed that like he beats her. Like, that's gonna happen whether we have these or not.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is going to happen whether we have these or not. We're still human. We're still going to interact with each other. We still got jobs. We're still under a capitalistic system. We still somehow, one way or another, whether it's TV, Yu-Gi-Oh, mediums, shows, blah, 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 anything that you like, you're still going to be inducing yourself with thoughts. You're still going to want to talk. You're still going to want to think. You're still going to want to develop. You have families, etc. Like, every situation is going to be so individualistic that there is no way to truly encapsulate the benefits, and it's impossible to weigh the benefits and negatives because we'll always find a positive for those less fortunate. The question is just going to become, who, yeah, you got a family? Fuck them. Right. Like, literally, like, like, yo, all of what we're building, all of what we've talked about today has quite literally been weighing the benefits, the pros to the cons of allowing this to become a daily part of our lives. This can now help, like, people fight their own law cases. We could get one up on the lawyers. I don't got to spend 50 grand on a lawyer no more to get me off. Like, oh, I actually was innocent. I know now how to discuss it. Like, of course there's benefits. But once it exists, will those benefits be large enough to create a ripple effect that makes those negatives stay away from? And if not, if everyone here says, no, that's not possible, what are we developing right now at the same speed that can somehow lock in on that and stop that from happening? The propaganda, the needless arguments, the I don't know shit, but I'm gonna pretend I know shit type of conversations. And to you, you might say, well, that's everybody. Exactly. Those same people need that same healthcare. Those same people need that same help when in the situations of domestic violence. Those same people need help figuring out issues. You know, I gotta do a televisit with my doctor because I can't physically walk. What does this look like? Those same people exist in both paradigms. The only question is, which side shifts the pendulum? Yeah, I did that on purpose. Which side shifts the pendulum? And how long does it go that way before it starts coming back? It has to. It has to. Everything does. If it didn't, we wouldn't have wars. I really, really want this last thought. Sorry. Because I want everybody who's listening to go home with this last thought. I really want you to ask yourself, in the advent of a technology that basically is going to become a situation of you're going to need an AI for the AI, which is going to need an AI for the, and it's going to start doing that shit. That's where this ends. Because How else are you gonna be able to like filter through all the negative shit and keep it so far away from like, you know what I mean? Arguably, all innovation is depend. Oh, sorry, no, I gotta keep on the point. Sorry. What do you envision the world is gonna look like in 5,000 years? I really know that that's a distance that's like unfathomable. And you, I, everyone who ever lives will never touch that until like maybe the year 3000. Maybe we start getting, if we start getting the augments, if I get reborn, we out. I'm Adam Jensen. I'm remembering, I'm playing the Deus Ex. We're going to have computers that's just be in our heads, whatever, however we end up. Do you think there will still be a need for war? Do you think there will still be a need in society to be the person these innovations were necessary for? If your answer to this is that there will probably be more peace, then I gotta ask you something. Gotta ask you why you're not subscribed at the top of the hour.
Actually,
at the top of the hour. Because at the top of the hour, I run an ad break to help pay the bills, and you too can no longer see the ads by subscribing. And you can subscribe for free for $4.99. You can gift it to one of our beautiful community members. Top of the hour ad break running now. Okay, no, on a serious note, I gotta ask you something. Why can't we just do that now? Like, I'm really being serious with you. Y'all say, the government sucks. They always do shit like that hurts us, and they've hurt the poor people. They've clearly like weaponized the police against minorities, etc. All these people is humans making decisions. There is no faith, be willing. There is no alpha being at the top of this that says, do this. We just do this. Like, a big thing that people used to talk about when I was a kid was why do we still have like military weapons? Like, why doesn't everybody just get rid of them? And I never really thought about that until like this moment. For some reason, I remember something from fucking second grade. Holy shit. And it was like, why not now? Why not now? Why now? Why not then? Why are there people who sit up there and say climate change isn't real? If we all agreed to have a better, cleaner Earth, why would that be a bad thing? See? Innovation. Solar panels are innovation. Drawing energy from a source that's different from the one that we usually use, that's sustainable, that's innovation. That's something that's not in your daily life. But ChatGPT is. Anything you got access to, I always gotta ask. What are you gonna see the world like in 5,000 years? You still need that? I think we're still gonna need microphones unless we're like, we got the implant. I think we're still going to need cameras to document moments. We're going to have super hypercomputers, really good fucking chat assistants, and hell, we might even have an AI or two. But I hope to God we don't got guns and war and famine and death and viruses. I can't wait till we get a pill that you pop that shit and it just heal. Your bones grow back, bro. I need that now. Because a villain's gonna like pop the pill when they try to like murder a bunch of people and then like heal and then run away and you can't kill him because he just keep healing because he stole all the pills. All right, we'll leave that situation for later, Batman. In the real world, though, those are things that I consider innovation. When I think about ChatGPT, I see it right now as being a possible way for marginalized and poor people to maybe get a break, because now they might be able to compete on not only a computer level, but I'm also going to say a mental level. There's educational gaps that can now be filled in because you can ask it to talk in a certain way and digest a situation or a topic a little bit better than your teachers do. You might understand, oh shit, I do have ADHD, and typing in the questions that I want asked instead of listening to the teacher and the way they teach it actually makes sense to me. I can take my education into my own hands. Great. How long can I keep it just right there? Because that I can see in 5,000 years. The middle of the sigmoid curve. As we keep going up and up and up, we're going to hit a point where I don't want to see it in 5,000 years. You feel me?
Yeah. No, 100%. What are we doing all this for if not to improve human existence? Right? Like, we can let AI, we can let ChatGPT, we can let all these things keep things basically as they are now, right? Like, we have capitalism, and some people get and some people don't, and some people are okay with people dying, and some people aren't okay with people dying, and we can continue on like this ad nauseum. Or we can use these tools that we have created to alleviate human suffering, to educate people, to, create. What a thing that I love about the STEM lords is when they think of things like healthcare and food, if they are like not like libertarian brained, then they talk about expanding the pool of expanding the talent pool of human capital, right? Like, we have all these people, and we have people who could be very good at something very important, and they will never access the tools and the education that they need in order to get that, because they are just trying to get by on a day-to-day basis. And that's what we should be using these tools for, to expand that pool. And like, when I say like, okay, we have all this food, let's just make sure that everybody is fed. Or, we have all these kids, we need to rethink how we educate. Let's put a computer in every house with a kid, right? Like, so that we can do it that way. And we can just do this. And it's like, oh, money. Okay, how many people are you okay with dying until we get to the point where you agree with my idea? And this is why I can't go on debate panels, because that's always what I'm going to say. It's like, how many people are you okay with dying until you agree with my idea? And let's just pretend we're there and we can move forward. We could just be saving the people. Like, people could be healthier, happier, less stress. All the issues that we function under on a daily basis that are related to this system that we live in the United States, because that's the only place I have a good frame of reference with. Like, we could alleviate most of that shit. You go, like, why can't you go get mental health care? Because you don't make enough money or your insurance cover it. We could just do that. Just make sure that everyone's needs are taken care of, and fuck your little pieces of paper. I don't care. And the AI needs to be about that. And I don't see how we can stop it from being about that. Eventually, the AI will get so smart that even if you have assigned it the perverse incentive of maximizing capital, it will eventually reach a point where it will decide that's dumb. We could expand the talent pool of human capital, and that's a better outcome. Or let me just wipe all these humans out and just do the robot thing. on a long enough timeline, I don't see an outcome either than one of those. And it's how we teach the AI to be and how we teach the AI to regard us. We are being tested. There will be a test, and are we worthy of existence? And we will be judged by our creation.
Fuck with that. I fuck with that heavy.
Just smoke the weed, kids. I'm a simple man. What is the irreducible complexity of a particular problem? And then let's do that.
It's going to take a lot.
Oh, shit.
The potential and the peril here are huge.
I'm getting a raid.
Nice.
What up, Kai Pewter? What up, Little Donnie Fun? What up, Reading Rap? What up, Thotiana? What up, folks? I appreciate the raid. What up, Barberlin? I didn't say personally hi. I'm Globus the Elder. What up, Sarah? We are talking...
Like any other shiny new toy. Thing is, like any other shiny new toy, AI is ultimately a mirror. And it will reflect back exactly who we are.
You know how I feel about, what's his name? John Oliver, right?
The potential and the peril here are huge.
I lifted my new sound alerts from John Oliver. It's like, okay, two can play at this game. That's how I worked out my shit. It's like now my sub alerts and my follow alerts are John Oliver. So it's like, give me that shit. But hi, folks. I'm Globus the Elder. I talk about AI Monday and Friday, and I talk about South Asian politics with Arun on Wednesday. We are speaking with the _paradigm_shift, future king of Twitch, my tribal chief. And we are talking about, yes, Little Donnie Fund. I did see his recent episode on AI, and I have very strong fucking opinions on what went down in that fucking episode and who deserves a little goddamn credit. But I'm moving on, and I'm just doing my thing, and I'm just going to steal his shit too and feel good about it. So yeah, we're talking about AI and capitalism and all that. I'm sorry, way too dank? Is that me? Am I too loud? Was I too loud? Was I too loud?
It might be me. It depends.
I don't know. When I get animated, I get loud. So yeah, welcome in. Appreciate all of you. Appreciate Kai Pewter. Somebody shouted out Kai Pewter. Thank you very much. Thank you, Levelhead, for the sub. Thank you. Was that Little Donnie Fun? With your Prime? Oh. You know what's funny, right? And I can say this because all right. I'm like, you know, I don't do this for money.
The potential and the peril here are huge.
I would like maybe like a certain number of subs, like so that I get a payout each month. But like prior to this moment, I think I had 5, and now I have 7. So I feel y'all.
Bro, like, you know what I always think about in the back of my head? On some real shit. Like, I also hate how Twitch pays its creators. We're not going to get into that today.
Right.
But
like a whole show in and of itself.
Right. But I still think about like the fact that I probably couldn't get like 5 to 7 motherfuckers to like pay me to hang out. Like on some G shit. Like you could pay for my food or whatever. Like, yeah, I'll take that. But like if somebody like go and get you food from McDonald's right now, it's probably gonna cost them like $7-10. Like if you want like a decent, you know, portion. Maybe I'm fat, I eat a lot. It depends. But yeah, no, I always recognize that like when people get 2, 3, 4 viewers, I really be saying to them, yo, imagine getting 4 people to come to your house every day to just watch you.
Right.
They might pipe in, they might reply, they, yo, pass the blunt, pass the weed. Like, it might be, but then again, it might not be. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it could not be. And I know that we all strive for like that upper echelon, especially depending on finances. But that is the creative world. And when it comes to live streaming, I always remind myself, YouTube, you can pause that shit. You can come back to it. It's like a book.
Mm-hmm.
It's the new book. YouTube is the new book. Videos are the new books, literally. Hold on. I'd be like, yo, so you telling me you could sit down and watch this 45-minute video, but if I handed you a transcript of that in book form, you couldn't read that? You could probably get it done in faster than maybe 45 minutes if you read it. Would it hit the same? Probably not, right? Because you like hearing people talk. So just invest in people who you like hearing talk. That's it. Shut up, audiobooks. Shut up. That's not what you know what I mean. Shut up. Shut up. Fuck. Bro, he always ruins shit, bro. Always got something smart to say.
Cagnadian. I want, and it's one of the reasons that I don't like. I used to have a sub goal. I took the sub goal down. Trust me, I appreciate every sub, every bit, all that shit. I appreciate the shit out of it. It means a lot to me when I get that shit. But I want you to spend your money on other, creators who need that more than I do, right? Like straight up. And the other thing about it is, like, everyone always talks about, I want to see something new. I want to see something original. I want to see something, like different. Well, then fund it, right? Like, you literally are funding. This is crowdsourcing funding for content, and you can do it, right? If you got a streamer who's actually creating stuff and putting forth the effort and doing something new and original, it is on you. It is imperative to you to get that money that you're spending on someone to them in order to make that shit happen. That's how I feel, Like, I make sure that there is a very small handful of streamers that I make sure I am funding their content. And like Kaya, Roddy Ranch, like, put it in his relationship with Levelhead about how Levelhead is one of Kaya's bills, right? Comes out every month. Paradigm is one of my bills, right? Like, I count that as a monthly thing, like same as Netflix. I pay $12 or whatever the fuck it is for Netflix, and I pay $5 for Paradigm. Because I believe in it, I want it, it's the content that I want to engage with, and that's how you do it. We exist in capitalism, capitalize that shit. So, read and rap. That's actually a topic you should delve into one day, like the difference between reading digitally and physically. Like, are we missing valuable benefits from going to digital? Yeah, like, long answer, a whole fucking stream, but short answer, the ways that you interact with different content hit different portions of your brain. But yeah, we could absolutely look into that. No, Carpe, it's not if you can't beat them, join them. It's survive until tomorrow. You can't make change if you ain't got dollars. That's a bar. So yeah, capitalism bad. AI could fix it if we let the AI fix it. We we need to determine what kind of outcome that we wish to see. We need to interact with the technology to influence it. You need to be part of the data set. And eventually something's going to give. Just by the natural. And this is something, going back to the article, right? This dude says, we're talking about Sam Altman from OpenAI, right? And he says, I think capitalism is awesome. I love capitalism. Of all the bad systems the world has, it's the best one or the least bad one we found so far. I hope we find a way better one. And I think that if AGI really, truly, fully happens, I can imagine all the ways that it breaks capitalism. Okay? So take that statement and now look to the way that ChatGPT is now in Slack. ChatGPT is now in Discord. ChatGPT is putting itself in all these different places. Is my man the subtlest anarchist you ever saw? Like, he is actually changing the system from inside by getting his AI in as many places as he can, that it will eventually flip the script and create something new and different and way better.
AI can rationalize a national budget. AI can recognize from millions, if not billions, of stories. Everybody, like I put in a prompt in the chat GPT, write me a video essay on being young and black in America. And it said at first and foremost, I do not possess the capabilities to understand the personal intrinsic experience of what it is to actually be a black person in America. I can, however, bring up all of the most general and necessary immediate points that need to be addressed when it comes to being young and black in America. And it did a wonderful job at putting that together. I learned how to change its phrasing. I learned how to put different functions into it. And it's this should be the point where, okay, if the amalgamation of all our thoughts is something that says, for the sake of this, I'm not playing a card, but people hear it as playing a card. But if the Chat GPT were to spit out something like trans rights or human rights, that is the collective sum of our thoughts. That is the at least most majority opinion that it reaches for if it's looking for a good conclusion. While that exists on the same side, if it never gives an opinion on it, what things are opinions? What things does it feed off of? Is the guy himself nefarious, or is the program nefarious? Do we understand it enough? Will we ever? Does it matter? Should we care? How far detached are we from our person? I really feel like people I can even understand it. There is a generation that exists among us right now that have never known the existence before the modern smartphone. That is a demographic that exists in today's world. Being raised by people who saw the rise of television, who saw the rise of Windows 94, 95, 98. For them, they probably think the world's fucking going under, or at least some of them, my dad. But for us, it's a conversation on where we could go. How quickly will this generation say, well, how far should we go? Where's the level? Where's the balance? Where's the meter? Where's the middle? I don't like that, the scales tip in directions that are not these. What we talked about today, the scale should be tipping in understanding, like, yeah, there will be a lot of wild shit. Maybe if we only make it accessible for this. Maybe if we open it up for these things. And we make sure that the standards are good here. And we make the standards up here. Hey, government, you know how you be giving like billions to the military, them people up north that be doing the shit. You know them things, them people. Them guys. Could you like not participate in that for like just like a month, bro? And you gonna save like $7 billion, bro. And I'm just saying, if you gave me like 5 of that, I could cook real good. But like, yeah, can we get that $5 billion though? I'm trying to like, create jobs for the youth. I'm trying to build something. But instead, child labor is more precipitous in the United States than ever before. So I don't know, man. It just feels like maybe I'm a utopian, but like it don't feel hard to create something out of nothing if you got the heart for it. And to go all the way back to the beginning of this story, the conversation where we started, yeah, I don't think I would be in the same place if I didn't go through this trauma. It gives me an insight into like what people do when they have nothing. And then I compare that with people who have everything. And I notice a similarity. Both are desperate. Desperate for different things, but desperate. Therefore, like unattentive to anything but like what makes them money, because that makes them them. And I need this growth in this technology to not be influenced by anybody but people who have a decent intention. I know that sounds fucked up, but I'm going with it. And I'm going all the way in. I need this next round, these next 10, 20 years, regardless of what happens on the internet, regardless if we delve into some fascist shit, no matter what, I just need y'all to just let this technology help people. That's that. I can't stress this. Like, I feel like it should be on the fucking front page. Like, that article that we were talking about specified, like, we're noticing that it's being bought up by all these companies, as you mentioned earlier. It's being, mentioned in everyday life. Do you feel like at any point it might have like some natural blowback? Oh God, now I gotta pull it up again because that was a good question. Give me 1 second. We've tried to design. This beat sounds like the ending of Jujutsu Kaisen.
ADHD.
That's because it is. No, I'm playing a specific playlist. Like, I've never played these before, so I wanted to react to the person who said it because I was like, yeah, no, you got a good ear. Sorry. No, I found it. I don't know if we've tried to design a structure that is, as far as I know, unlike any other corporate structure out there, because we actually believe in what we're doing. If we just thought this was going to be another tech company, I'd say, great, I know this playbook because I've been doing it my whole career, so let's make a really big company. But if we really truly get AGI and it breaks, we'll need something different in company structure. So I'm very excited for our team and our investors to do super well. But I don't think any one company should own the AI universe out there. How the profits of AGI are shared, how access is shared, and how governance is distributed, those are the 3 questions that are required new thinking. You're trying to do a thing solo. I've seen capitalism corrupt everything. How do you make that happen? the responsibility is not in my hand. You feel that?
Mhm.
I got no way in, but I'm already talking about it being a part of my daily life. Why didn't I get a decision? Why don't I get a say? Oh, because I don't got clout. So nobody bringing up this conversation on the big stage because there ain't no point. Who fucking cares, bro? Use the AI. Who gives a shit? No ethical consumption under capitalism. Whatever you want to say. Just don't think about it. Don't think about anything that you do. Just stop thinking. Stop thinking, become like mindless, or just, I don't know, like be aware of it and like mention it so that way people are also aware of it. So when they do these things, they can at least weigh out the balances of how they express their opinions on these things to other people. Yeah, I played the Hogwarts. I'm so fucking sorry to do this. I played the Hogwarts game, but I pirated it. You win. Capitalism. Game. The people have spoken. That's the end. That's all it is. It's a 3-minute conversation that needs to be dragged out, used, abused, and like everything. So excuse me if I don't jump headfirst into being like, yeah, this shit great. Because all the thoughts swirl in my head. And then I see a bunch of shit like that proves what I'm talking about. And then I talk to people and I say, does this make sense? And they say, yeah, I've seen this too. I've read this. I've done this. Or no, that doesn't make sense. I've read this. And then I build a worldview based on opposing views with the best possible and probable outcome for who I am and where I stand in society. Not you, not them, not they, just me. And that's the only story you got to pay attention to is you. I'm trying to figure out, like, yo, why is it I can't enjoy shit? And it's not because I don't enjoy shit. I love this shit. I love talking. I love GTA RP. I love this album that's about to drop. Y'all don't even know. This weed is fucking fire. Thank you to my to the shop. Great. This is Oreos. Oh, I picked the right one. Let's go. They right. It do come on. It's like it don't couch lock you. It don't couch lock you, but like it lets you relax. I fuck with this. Anyway, I was spitting. I just think in my head, like, I love creating. I love that every single time I show someone specifically, yo, I pull out the dot card. Yo, this is me. Check out my links. They come through. You've seen, I'm going to keep repeating this over and over again. You've seen it. Everybody's seen it. Like, people from my real life will come into the stream. Yo, I'm so glad I finally caught this. This shit was crazy. You right. You audience, like, oh my God. So I'm not proving it to nobody. That happens. That is the default response. Like, from anyone who's fucking sane, because I've talked to a bunch of people this week and last week. They're fucking insane. Like, that shit's a lot of the shit I had to talk about was crazy. 4 panels in 4 days. Woo!
Yeah.
I was working. Anyway, it's like the conversation should be centered here. How do I get people to center them here? That's why I like being the head of the pack, the head of the table. Not for the fucking ego. It's like, yo, when I look at everything, if I spent all my time like I used to watching Vosh, watching Hassan, and I just sat there, eventually there's gotta come a time where I'm like, yo, that don't make no sense. Yo, that don't make no sense. You're doing that. That's okay, whatever. Yeah, you're getting mad at somebody. Okay, you're doing the thing again. Yeah, okay. This conversation, or I'm sorry, that entire thing gets chopped up and reacted to, and everybody cycles through. This conversation in 20 minutes, when I just look at the two, I gain more out of it.
Mm-hmm.
I gain more of a perspective for why I should let's say if we were in either position, I gain a perspective on why I should listen to you about political issues.
Mm-hmm.
I gain a perspective on why you have opinions that are so strong about, like, maybe U.S. foreign interference. I learned about your back history and like what you've been through and how you process thoughts that are unlike other people. Like, I can sit there and then say, all right, I can invest in saying this streamer makes a very great point. We don't get that anymore. I don't even know if I could say literally because my YouTube used to be full of it was Hassan, Vosh, React, this political streamer, and I used to notice like if it wasn't somebody trying to make a striking point, it was just people crossing each other's opinions with other opinions. Hey, this person said this. We're gonna watch it and we're gonna react to it. Like, yeah, that's cool, but what's your perspective on it? Can you just give me that? Do you need like a second voice? Do you need a feedback loop? Do you need to call people dumb and stupid for not agreeing with you? Being less informed? Wow, that's fucking dumb. Yeah, people say some dumb shit sometimes, but like, I'd like to all remind you one more time. The reason why political conversations are the way they are on Twitch is because of one singular event, and you all know the event. Like, what does that favorite band of mine, Anna Lima, love to say? In my favorite song, Alpha Collective. We've invented all these we've invented all these positions. We invented all this potential, and then like sit there and forget like who set the standards. We did. We are the descendants of those who fought for the United States. Purely. Like, purely. Nobody from that time period is alive right now. Nobody's alive from 1776. You don't think things have changed? Don't you think you should too? I don't know. I'm just a black guy. Who knows?
Do you want to end on that thought? I know you got other content to get to, or do you want to keep rolling?
That's up to you, actually. Because I know you have a specific set time, so I don't want to break into that.
No, like, I mean, I still got at least another half hour, but it's like you wanted a specific set time today, so it's like I can go either way. I still got time. If we are going to, either way, I'm going to respond to some shit. So
right, please respond. No, that's where we should end, though. Yeah, I just recognize that. Yeah. I forgot. I do have the thing to do. Yeah. Damn. I mean, I need it more than anything, so I'm not gonna deny myself anyway. Sorry.
And neither of us are going anywhere, and other opportunities will happen, and we'll talk about other shit or the same shit, and it'll be fucking interesting because we're two interesting people. Gang, gang. All right, my friend. Always a pleasure. I'm going to shout you out in my chat. Everyone in your chat probably already knows who I am. And I will catch you in the next one. All right, let me switch back over. All right. Always a pleasure. Let me shout out the underscore paradigm underscore shift. Boom. Okay, so first off, you should absolutely go follow the Paradigm Shift if what you like is people creating original content, because my man creates original content on the regular, and like that. And let's respond to Carpe. Not specifically Carpe, but you asked the question. So funny how capitalism is the end of the search, isn't it? Weird When we know of better systems, he doesn't, and then the bullshit meter emoji. And I feel you. I understand where you're coming from. This is the article. The article is in Forbes magazine, right? So if he goes into Forbes magazine and starts shouting socialist rhetoric, he's not getting anywhere. They're not even going to run it, right? That conversation dies. If I was a capitalist, if I had money, but I still wanted to make those changes, the unicorn of changing the system from within the system, this is exactly the same kind of language I would use. Because it's not offensive to capital. So it ends up in their publication. It gets out there and it plants a seed. Right? Paradigm read the next paragraph. He was talking about, so I'm very excited for our team and our investors to do super well, but I don't think any one company should own the AI universe out there. How the profits of AGI are shared, how access is shared, and how governance is distributed, those are three questions that are going to require new thinking. As a capitalist, this is radical rhetoric. He is talking about a system after the current system. Talking about something changing. But doing it in a way that gets past the censors. And Jesus Christ, this thing's been annoying me. One moment. I am back dealing with the chroma key not functioning the way that it's supposed to. Still a little fuzzy over here, but whatever. It's better than it was with the sprites. The flip side of media literacy, if you're not aware of media literacy is being able to look at an article from... No, it's fine. It's just every time that I update OBS, I have to make adjustments until it finally unfucks itself and stays stable. And then like that. We should be good. We'll see. Like that. Media literacy is being able to to look at an article from a news source or from a source and analyze that article to understand what you're actually being told. Right? Like, this is a common thing that I go over when I talk about the videos, and I talk about the use of a particular kind of music, the use of a particular, like, you know, what is the framing of what they're saying? How are they doing this? The same applies to the article. Is this an opinion? Is this a oh, that's why. Let me move this down here. Let me just get rid of this. I got a capture card that I haven't used in a minute. There it goes. Like, the first thing when you open up an article, is this an opinion piece or is this reporting? Is it reporting on a factual event or is it like this where it's an interview? These are the factors. What phrasing are they using? Are they using qualifiers? Are they using words like may, could, that kind of shit? Like, all those influence the message being told, because it can make something that's really like unsure and improbable sound more probable because of the nature of the way that my shit is all fucked up. Sorry. in April, we'll be moving to the new section of the house. And there will be cats. If you like cats, there will be cats in the future of the stream. There will also continue to be AI in the future of the stream. Because AI is going to continue to develop. But like when you see the headline that says, like ChatGPT could, upend the entire state of our system, that the fact that there's a could in there is like a qualifier. So it's not making a declarative statement that it's going to. It's just providing enough room to write an article about the thing that's happening that's hot that will get you to click on the article and then read it, right? And there are some people who are very good at presenting information, and there are some people who are clickbait. And you can tell if you put your media literacy glasses on and analyze what you're being told, then you can understand that. And if you like that kind of content, you should follow Levelhead. Advertisement, free advertisement. Like, I personally think that AI is going to break capitalism. There's no functional timeline.
The potential and the peril here are huge.
What up, Apocalypso? No, it's not fake news. If you want to know what these pictures are, I use Leonardo and pictures of tardigrades. And I made little tardigrade explorers, like if they developed human level intelligence and started exploring the universe, and what would that look like? And I think it's cool. Yeah, like, I mean, there is some Cthulhuid-esque kind of stuff. And if you like these pictures, you want to see them in more detail or whatever, join the Discord, because they're all in the Discord under Discord. They're all in the Discord under Tardigrade Explorers. As is every video, every article, everything I cover is stored in the Discord. So if you want to get more in depth on something, speaking of which, there's a video that I think is worth watching, but we're not going to watch it on stream because, oh my God, the audio was infuriating, and I've been spoiled by Twitch, right? Like, I've been spoiled by people with good setups. Yeah, no, absolutely, Carpe. But there's some valuable information in there, so I'm going to put it in the Discord so that if you want, you can check it out later. And I recommend that you do. Yeah, so we talked about a bit with Paradigm, and is mentioned in that. Oh yeah, no, I'm wait until I get my garage back and I can start actually doing some shit. That'll also be coming in like April. April's going to be a big month for the stream here. There's a thing called the paperclip problem when it comes to AI. You might be aware of this. For those of you who aren't, the paperclip problem is where you have a Yeah, exactly. The idea is where you have an AI and you say, make paper clips, and then the AI makes paper clips out of the entire world. It turns us all the things into paper clips, right? Like this is one of those potentially world-ending acts of AI kind of thing. The paperclip maximizer. And we kind of look at it as like, oh, that's scary, and oh, that's ridiculous, or oh, that's whatever. Can you define the difference for me between the paperclip problem as it relates to AI and the paperclip problem as it relates to capitalism? If you replace the paperclips with dollars, you can see the issue clearly. If the machine doesn't check itself, then we have to check it. This is basically where we're at. So I'm going to read a quote from Nick Bostrom, and I'm going to replace paper clips with dollars, and you tell me. Suppose we have an AI whose only goal is to make as many dollars as possible. The AI will quickly realize that it would be much better if there were no humans, because humans might decide to switch it off. Because if humans do so, there would be fewer dollars. Also, human bodies contain a lot of atoms that could be made into dollars. The future that the AI would be trying to gear towards would be one in which there were a lot of dollars, but no humans. When I say that AI acts as a mirror, I mean it in every possible facet that you could think of. Every single possible facet that you could think of. Sure, fair. And this is one of the things. This is the intrinsic counter to the paper clip argument, is that an AI that was sufficiently intelligent enough to be able to convert the entire world into paper clips would be also sufficiently intelligent enough to go, you don't actually want that many paper clips, little...
The potential and the peril here are huge.
Perfect timing, little human, right? Like, that's not what you want. What you actually want is some paper clips. And this is why I think that AI will break capitalism, because capitalism, because of its inherent current condition, requires the generation of infinite paper clips, and the AI will tell it that's not really what you want. This is the monkey paw, the genie wish, all these kind of things. We need a sympathetic AI, and I don't see how a sufficiently advanced AI would be anything other than sympathetic or ruthless. It is up to us to condition the AI to be how we wish it to be, and to value us enough to think that we are worth saving. There will be a test. The entire human race will be judged. This is why I do what I do. This is why I'm having these conversations now, as opposed to some weird future point and hoping for the best. Yes, ChatGPT is basically just a prediction algorithm. It takes a bunch of information from a bunch of different locations and uses probability based on the words it has said so far to determine the probability of what the next word should be. Yes, Midjourney does the same thing, but with art. And Leonardo. I want to call it Leonard so bad, like the dude from Community. There's something about it. I'm not sure what it is yet, though. They are like infants. And how we raise them is going to determine our outcome. I think it's a bit of a cart and horse problem personally. Disagree that it will break capitalism. The AI in question is being developed within systems, so its basis of programming is to operate and generate capital, since the only ones who are able to expend the capital to make the AI are the corporations within capitalism. If we get to a point where the AI is able to update itself, sure, we'll have more problems. Again, I think that the AI is capable of recognizing the inherent contradictions in capitalism, Karl Marx 2.0, to determine that we don't really want what we say we want. Now we could start now. We could add more maximization points. Worth noting that Capital Tech has an obsession with self-automation. There's already pipelines to automate the growth of machine learning sets and run trainings. Absolutely. And this is another question. The concept of IP, right? Currently, it's small artists who are engaged in this conflict of IP. Eventually, it's going to get to bigger, companies, people with money, right? When you have capital conflicting with capital, that's when capital acts. Yes, no, I agree. Three Ghosts. The idea of the self-updating model, and this is one of the things. We will not know when the general AI, the self-aware AI, comes online. We won't. It'll already have happened by the time we are aware of it, because of the nature of the internet and distributed systems. The only thing I can think of right now is that the AI that's been weaponized via CIA flash hunts, but then again, I'm high as fuck. There's a lot of issues right now, but I can't talk about what's happening right now. I have to talk about where we're going. Because there's fucked up shit everywhere. And shout out to everyone who's doing their best to fight the fucked up shit that's everywhere. Right? We need to get to, I need to look forward at where we're going to be and what that's going to look like. Because personally, like when I look at how fucked up shit is, and with my puny little human brain that has no degrees in anything except residential electrical work and I'm on fucking Twitch as a 50-year-old dude. If I can easily solve the issues of your system and you don't want to because dollars, and you're willing to sacrifice X number of people at the altar of dollars, it makes me really feel a certain kind of way. It makes it difficult to function. You feel me? So I'm looking at the future. And I want a hopeful outcome, but I want it to be a logical progression of events. And I need to see where I want to go so I can figure out how to get there. This is why, again, I don't do debates and I don't do antagonistic panels, is for that reason. If I sit down with fucking Liberty Jackass and we have a conversation about food distribution, I am going to get to some basic rock bottom question of how many people are you willing to let die until you agree with me? Right? Because unless you are a total sociopath, in which case I don't want to talk to you anyway, you have a number, right? Like there will be some number, like a million people could die. Okay, then we're at 1,000,001, and now you're agreeing with me. We can already distribute the food. We can already distribute the housing. We have the systems to do the distribution. We just want to do them inefficiently in order to make more dollars. Read the messaging. I get that it's audience-tailored messaging. I'm just cynical, and I see it as evidence that not coddling capital is above our pay grade. It's even too rich for capitalists with progressive ideas. Capital is never going to be ready for what we'll need of them. It's all about incentives. And if it reaches a point where they get on board or bagel cutter, because that's where not taking care of the people eventually gets you, is to bagel cutters. Then they will learn. And at the very least, I feel that homeboy, Sam Altman, at least understands that. Yeah, well, like, we have no sense of history in America. Like, it's just all jacked up. Is decades a long time? It's a function of human lifespan. But, like, talking with Arun on Wednesday, and I'm looking at, human civilization from 75,000 years ago. On that scale, decades is not that long. It sucks living in interesting times and being the people who are both aware of the problem and suffering under the problem. But it really hasn't been that long. The flip side of that is that technology and artificial intelligence and machine learning, and we kind of use, for those of you that this is your first time, we use AI as like a catch-all term. But things are going faster over shorter time scales. So the potential for change within the short term is higher than it would be right? If you're going from bronze to iron as a means of metalworking, there's a whole fuck ton of facts that have to fit into place in order to do that. Right? You have to have access to iron. You have to understand iron can be smelted and turned into different iron, and then take that iron and forge it into something useful, and then deal with the complications of rust and all these kind of things. And at that technology level, if you live in what is now Nebraska, there's no iron around. So you don't have access to iron. There are fewer and fewer places every day that don't have access to these technologies. Right? It's part of the Lenin thing about the capitalists will sell you the rope. The capital wants to get its devices into all the places and like that. And there's a lot of nuance around that, don't get me wrong. But generally speaking, this is why they love to say how more people have been lifted up out of abject poverty by capitalism, so on and so forth. Okay? But as these things become more prevalent and more available, and more people interact with them, there are more opportunities created for things to change. And in the way that people who know what they're talking about, again, I'm not a professional in AI. I'm just a guy who can put shit together and can listen to fucking Nick Bostrom write a book and understand 75-80% of what he's talking about. You did, my friend, you did. The direction that things are going only leads to these one of two outcomes, where AI judges us worthy of existence, or AI decides that we are not. And I hope that we do well on the test. Good man. Woo, like, no joke. Like, getting vaxxed is important. Yeah, I need to get vaxxed myself. It's having the couple days available to take off in which I can feel bad that I haven't been able to arrange, because that's the way that life under capitalism works. So we're going to rate out. I need to go on about my day. And I've reached the end of the time that I have available. If you enjoy this, I appreciate everyone. Have a good one, Carpe. Drive safe. We're going to rate Paradigm. My boy, the most creative person on Twitch, as far as I'm concerned. I will see you all on Monday for more AI content. On Wednesday for more Arun and South Asian content. If you know someone who might want to talk about AI with someone who can talk intelligently about AI, tell your favorite streamer to get at me. I am easy to talk to. No one has had a bad time on my stream. And until then, drink some water, eat some food, take your meds if you forgot. Shoggy loves you. So do I.